at the same picture. So this is kind of in a way that show where I came from and and then years later how my life turned out. Um, so um, the story basically it's not very long, and this is interesting. It's basically you look at my life. Um, One time I was sitting there thinking my life is basically there are key moments in one's life, and this is the three key moments. It's all related to toilets, so that's why I said this is a story of three toilets. The worst one, the saddest one, and the most ridiculous toilet. And this is all turning points of my life, and I have a reason for that. So the worst toilet, it came. This picture is not the actual toilet, but it just I searched on the internet because I wouldn't be able to find the one exact type of ones I experienced when I was in my childhood. So I just want to give you an idea about the worst toilet I've experienced. So I was in elementary school in Beijing, and um, we went to a field trip and went to the countryside. It was very exciting. So when we went to the countryside, and teacher said, point to the field. This was like a sort of like this kind of setup, very far away. And our teacher said, whoever wants to go to the toilet. You see that over there, that kind of a, just a little fence area. And there's a man and a woman, like a little writing on it. So you want to go, that's where you go. Okay, if you want to go to toilet. So when we go, I went, right? I went. So the setup, I still can remember to this day. The reason I say is the worst is outside is kind of like this setup, and there was a man sitting outside there, and then right beside him there was a stack of bricks like just the red bricks that you see that build houses. So and so each one a person, when you want to go into the toilet, you would take two bricks, one in each hand, right? And you go in. Inside there's no setup, it's just a flat dirt a surface, okay? So when you go in, and it's going to grocery out, so nobody's eating. So when you go in, so you just do your business right on the ground. So whatever people went before you, whatever they did, it's all on the dirt floor. Because at the end of the day or 2 days, somebody will come and sweep them up, and then it will just become dirt again, and then you do that again. That's when the brick come in. So you carry the brick, and you see other people's brick before you, because you can't really step on the ground, right? So you take your brick, you step carefully on previous people's brick, lay down on the ground, and until you find an empty spot, and you put your brick down, and you put your feet on that brick, and you squat, you do your business. After that, you get up and you carefully back out. You left the brick there. So when people come back at the end of the day or at the end of the week, they will clean this, they will they will get everything out, and they will restack the brick outside. So that's how this toilet works. So, so I was in elementary school. I think I was in third grade, something like that. So I remember at that time, I went, I came out, and I think I could feel the smell. To this day, I could still feel the smell. I could remember the smell. I said, that was probably the worst toilet I've ever experienced, and let's not do that again. So that was one point. So I do not want to, live in a place that live my life like, oh, keep going to see this type of toilet. Okay, so that's the worst toilet. This now come the saddest toilet. That's fast forward. I was a teenager. I was just about to get into college. I think I just finished finished the entrance exam. I was just about getting to college. This is 1989. And 1989, there's a big thing happened in China, specifically in Beijing. This happened. Okay, so there was a very huge protest for years. That's June 4th, 1989, and it started in April, and with student protests, right? So and then it went for a month. So you can see that in the far further, there's the art college students build their own version of Statue of Liberty, and people. These are all college students. It started with college students. Of most of all, actually 100% of the colleges in Beijing, and then a sweep to all the other major cities, started a protest. So whatever recently you saw in Hong Kong, it's a very similar style. So it started with a march and then occupied the square. So this is the biggest square in the world, right? And Tiananmen Square. So they occupy the square and people start having, you see those tents? It started with like this. So they occupy the square and then these people are hunger striking. So they went hunger strike. So what they wanted is very idealistic. Honestly, we didn't know what we wanted. We just wanted democracy, freedom of press, no specific ones. We just want dialogue with the communist government. And people are on hunger strike. Some of my friends are on hunger strike. My mom forbid me to. I was not allowed to go on hunger strike. So and there's no class for months, right? So for days, every single day, I will go home and I will get up and I will ride on my bicycle. I will go there, spend the day there. At night, the people on hunger strike, they do not go home. They slept there, right? And I went home, cleaned up, and then I would do this, and I would do this for a month every day. When people go on hunger strike, and then it's basically a cycle. So a lot of my friends are doing that, so they will be very weak, and then when they get really really weak, they got picked up by the ambulance and go to hospital, and they will get fixed up, and then they'll come back and do it all over again. So this starting in April all the way till June. So my because I was in medical school, so every day my job was my job. So there's an organization, you need to use your student ID to get into the square, and they circle up for each school. There's a designated area for you to be at. So for anybody that go to medical school, our job is we wear our white coat, we survey our little area to make sure everybody's okay. Nobody's fatigued and nobody's need medical attention. I'll give them water, right? And in between, I stand there, I tell them jokes, I sing, I read books, I keep them entertained. Another job, and that's linked to the toilet, is you see that this is a big square. There's no toilet. They're not eating because they're on hunger strike, but they still need to go to the restroom, right? They still go to the toilet. So in this square, there's a very far on the far corner, there are 4 toilets, but it's very far. You can see that, and they're weak, they're hungry, and they're disoriented. So every half an hour, I will ask who wants to go to the toilet, and typically I will gather 6, 3 on one side, 3 on this side, and I made them lock arms and go with me, and I'll take them to the toilet, and I will wait. I'll wait, and they will go to toilet, and then I take them back, right, to where they're supposed to do, where they're supposed to sit and continue their strike. So that's why I say they're saddest toilet, and it ends like this. So this is a famous one, right? So this end with this. So we have tanks on our streets. People, we have gunshots for 2 days. I was locked in. My mom locked me in. I wasn't allowed to go out. So I think on the 3rd day, I went out on my bicycle with my friends. We see burned trucks. We see horrible things so when you experience things like that, right, it marked a person. So at that time, I basically decided that I don't want to stay here anymore. I'll leave. So I think that's when I made up my mind to study, to learn English. I want to get out. So that's the saddest toilet. So then I went to Canada. I did all that. and come to the most ridiculous toilet. So, and then I became, and I had a career, I had a family, and um, I had a really good career. I became a global travel executive. So I travel all the time for work. Um, um, I had a family, and life is good. I had a beautiful house, beautiful family, really happy with my career. And one time I was transitioning in Japan, and I was in business lounge. I was in business lounge, and I encountered this, and the Japanese toilet was famous, right? So that's why I said it's the most ridiculous toilet. For some reason, I was in business lounge waiting for a business class flight. I went to the toilet. I looked at this toilet, and then there's so all this previous toilet flashed into my eyes, and I kind of say, "Well, I don't know how I got from a flat dirt floor and to here, but here I am." Right. So it's kind of marked of my life and my career and changing to this ridiculous toilet. And this thing has whatever you have. It has all the, I tried all the buttons because I was like, at 2 hours, I tried all the buttons and figure out what to do. They even have music on there. So that was kind of interesting because I had that kind of made me, I had a moment there to think about what happened previous of my life. So that's a kind of in a way that to tell you my life, how it came from that to this. And um, and I want to show you some fact pictures. So I'll talk to you about my career after this. So I had what I would say a fantastic career. 20 years I worked for Emerson for it's a global manufacturing company. For that 20 years, my career sum up it's by four numbers: 20 and 9, 7 and 3. So I did 20 years and 9 different type of jobs, and I had 7 different bosses, different country and different people. I also a different gender, from different religion, and I lived in 3 different countries. So my latest job before I joined Amazon, I was a managing director of a portfolio of a manufacturing portfolio, about $250 million a year. So I'm responsible. I had a P&L of that portfolio. They manufacture in 3 places. I manufactured in Houston, Texas, and one in China. That's the factory I helped build, and also one factory in Italy, outside Milan. So the reason I said I had truly had a great career, and for a Chinese girl knowing Noah, is I truly, because of this job, I truly traveled the world. So these are the places I've been, all because of my job. So I lived in Singapore for 3 years for this job. Um, so that's my sort of a high level on my life and how it turned out. So I really enjoy that. Um, this was my last job. You can see on the back, this is our factory in Houston. Though that's big orange thing, that's what we what I'm responsible for. It's those big actuation and automation systems. And it's manufacturing, it's oil and gas, is engineering. So it's male dominated industry. So this guy, and stand with me, he's Emerson's CEO. He just announced his retirement. So, and he's also the chairman of the United States Manufacturing Association, for the advisor for the United States president. So it's Dave Farr. So I presented to him a few times. He said, and also rest of the guys are either from corporate or our business, the unit leader, president, vice presidents, and peers. So you can see I'm the only woman there, and only Asian woman. This lady, she's assistant. She traveled with the corporate executive to come here. So that's Emily. Um, it was uh, um, it was very rewarding once I made it to the table, but it was also very stressful. And then I mean, after 20 years, I had my reasons, and then I decided I needed to change. So I started to look around, and I can go into the details like why I made the change, but I wanted to change to something um, interesting, more interesting. I also try. Well, I was a little bit tired of the boys club, the bro culture. I could handle it. But I think about, do I really want to spend the next 10, 15 years of my career in this one, or I want to try something different? And the answer is I want to try something different. So I went out and tried to search for what I want to change to. So if you want to change your job after when you're young, like where you are, it's not that hard. Every 2, 3, 5 years, you probably would change. So actually, for most of you, you're younger ladies that it, it it it's entirely possible that you won't stay. These kind of a long career for a place in for to stay for like 15, 20 years is probably not going to happen. So you will probably keep changing jobs, right? But I think the thought process remained the same. So when I wanted to make a change, this is before the pandemic, I started to search about. Um, I started thinking about it over a year, because it's a big decision. I'm not a person that keep jumping from one place to another. So I was thinking, for me to change, because I already established to a certain level, and also I live in that area, in this kind of profession, in this area for so long. I have connections, I have knowledge, I have skills, and so to make a change is easier to say, but um, are you going to lose everything, right? Lose all that. So there's multiple ways that you can think about it. So how I thought about it was I can do it maybe in basically 3 ways. The number one is, most people, I think 80% of people change jobs, they would do it that way. Is the safest way is you will change a company, but everything else is still recognizable. You take your skill, connections, community with you. You change. Sometimes you can just walk right out and go to direct competition, and you can go for a higher position, bigger responsibility, more money, right? But it's very doable. People recognize, and people recognize who you are. So you go for peer-to-peer companies, and you make that change, but you get a better boss, you get better environment, and maybe something interesting there. So that's safest way to do it, easiest way to do it. Okay, that's number one path. The other one is, if you want a little bit more change, that's what I was thinking I was going to do, is can I get out of oil and gas and do something um, um, different, but still very much related to my previous job. So I don't have to give up all the things I've built up to this point. So meaning that maybe it's not oil and gas, but maybe it's global manufacturing. I know manufacturing, so maybe I'll do manufacturing. So that's kind of what I was thinking. So the third, so that's very much doable too. You need to do an inventory of your skill, and then you look what's out there and try to figure out how you can sell your skill related. It's your job to make that leap for other people, to make that connection. Say, yeah, I can see her in this type of job. So that needs more work, but I think that's another very doable path if you want to do a change, right? Relatable skills, and then you can and make sure you stage it in a way that sell your story, right? The narrative need to fit so people can see you there. It's basically like staging a house to sell. It's easier. So when you sell empty house, it's kind of harder. But if you stage it in a professional way, in a very beautiful way, it's easier to sell. You can sell for more money, right? So it's the same idea, because you think people should have imagination, they can look at the house and say, clearly, this is dining room. Clearly, that's a bedroom. It doesn't work that way. People do not have imagination. And in career, it's the same way. They don't have imagination. You can't just say, here are my skills. I can do, like, what do you think I can do? Don't do that. No one have that kind of imagination for you. You have to do that kind of work. So that's the second path. The first path is direct. Second path is that way. Third is out there. It's a unicorn job. It's like completely different, right? If you want to do something today, dream, like just do it, who you want to work for. And then you say, well, that's an exciting company. Maybe I want to work for that company. That's what I call a unicorn job, because you don't know anybody. You're not your job, your skill is not related, and you don't. It's complete new industry. Why would anybody want you and pay you unless you're willing to start from bottom, from the entry level again? And I wasn't willing to do that. But I was just thinking maybe that's another path. And then it turned out that's actually what happened to me is I did this. I went to, I know who's the most exciting, what is the most exciting company? It's high tech, right? So it's Google, it's Facebook, it's Amazon, AWS, but I don't know anything about high tech. So I was thinking, well, it'd be kind of cool if I can work for high tech. And so I made that change in a way that's very interesting. So this basically took me a year. I went through all kinds of interviews, and then pandemic happened. I stopped, and then I picked up again in the fall. And then I was very certain I was going to go through the second option, which is non-oil and gas, maybe a hybrid industry, but manufacturing, and so I can maintain my ranking and my experience, my pay. So that's kind of what I was going for, and I did end up landed an offer, a very good offer. I was going to that same week. I was told the offer is coming, and this is in the fall, in November, and then I I already have my kids that started school. I think this is my last. I thought whatever change I do, it will be my last job. So I wanted to. So if I made that change, I probably will do another 10, 15 years, and that's it. So it's manufacturing is my job. It's going to be my career. But there's one thing back in the back of my mind, say, well, is it really all there is? Maybe there's something. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it was just to make another call, just to ask. So I know one of my MBA friends. He did the switch a few years ago, 5-6 years ago. He was in oil and gas, and he decided to package everything up. He said, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go to Silicon Valley and try high tech. And he went. And I know it's 5-6 years ago. I knew he's at Google now. So I called him. I said, I'm about to make a change of job. I have 3 questions for you. And I want to brainstorm. And so he brainstormed with me. So I said, first question is, did you think you made the right decision? Do you like it, basically, after you made that switch? Second, do you think I could do the same thing if I want to do it? The third question is, knowing me, because we're friends. I said, knowing me, knowing who I am, what I can do you think I would like it? Because it's a complete different culture and different. And he said yes to all 3 questions. And then he brainstormed with me a little bit and said what you can do. And I said, but I know nothing about high tech. So, why would they want to pay me to do whatever? I don't know anything about it. He said that because things has changed, especially high tech. Okay, for Google and Amazon and for these companies, they've done the consumer things. They've done even entertainment and sports things. Now the next thing for everybody trying to do is industrial. So if you look at our space, right, as engineer, if you look at our industrial space, oil and gas, manufacturing, and I run these factories. this is one of Emerson's one of the best sort of top global manufacturing company. So they, you know, technology wise, operation wise, they're one of the best run ones, right? With GE, Honeywell, and all those companies. But you know, my factory was still, we were on clipboards, we were on travel binders with all these machines. We're not digitized, not to the technology true definition of proper digitized, right? And we're solidly in industry 3.0 country, same as most of the oil and gas company today. What technology can do today, in for retail, for everything else in manufacturing, is less than 10%, and that's being generous. So in the consumer front, if you look at this phone and everything, even the great grandma can have a phone and they can do FaceTime, they can use this phone and iPad today. So consumer adoption for technology is way here, right? I have an Echo here and everything's here, but industrial is less than 10%. Like, so that's the challenge. So why do they want people like maybe you, like us, is because they want to get in to do this transformation. And that's a huge they call it from 3.0 to industrial 4.0. That's the digital transformation. It's going to be huge, right? People are talking about that for a long time, and now they're kind of ready. The industry is ready. People mindset and saw change. They just don't know how, and they sit. And the technology people, a company, they want to do that with them. And then they look at their own workforce. They say, we just have a whole bunch of computer nerds. We have programmers, technologists. We don't have people that know how these factories run, how to talk their language. You know, from the factory floor technicians to the mid-level operation managers and to the C-level people. We don't know how to talk to them. That's how people like us come in. And that's what my friend told me. That's how where you come in. So we looked around and we decided business development is something I would like to do because I like talking to customers. I'm good at it. And then I can bridge this gap, right? I can bridge this gap and do that translation, basically saying, you know, this is what technology can do today, and then try to find the right application and try to help the industry to adopt. So they need people like us. And that's why if you look at the job boards, there are a lot of them for energy sector, manufacturing sector. That's where all these after cloud computing enable all these technologies, that's where you start seeing all these jobs pop up. So I would just I would just make the right call at the right time. So then my friend set up just an introduction and say, I know a person that recently made the change from oil and gas to AWS in the business development field that you want to in. Just so happens she's in a group that do apply AI and machine learning. So you can have a conversation with her and then see if she can give you some pointers. So all he did is just give me the phone number. So I made that phone number and then made it into a call, and then made it into a FaceTime discussion. And then so from I made that call to my friend Friday until I get the job offer from AWS is 10 days. So that was and then I turned down the other offer. I just joined AWS. So it was that's how I end up there. It was it was the unicorn one. It just so happened I was lucky, and also that they have this need, and then I was just there, and then I hustle hard, and then I made that happen. It's very different. It's fast paced. So I really enjoyed it, and the culture, and the best is pay. I mean, the high tech people, they pay you. So I didn't know anything. I probably high tech is a flat organization, so I wasn't this managing director, manage a lot of people, but my pay went way up. So I don't really have any complaints. So I'm just giddy. I get to do this every day. So it's been this is the third month. So I really truly enjoy it. Um, I'm going to pause here. What I don't know about the time. Yeah, so I'm gonna pause here and see if you have any questions for me. Um, this is I did this when I was in Emerson and Women in STEM. I did this sort of a career transition. So if you're in an enterprise company, there's different type of career move you can do. So the star one is international assignment. So one of the things that would work with when I work with a company like Emerson or GE or Exxon, this a large company, what you can take advantage of is experience, right? Like I said, maybe I didn't get paid the best pay or compared to Facebook or whatever, but I thoroughly enjoyed the experience. Like I traveled the world and I met so many people, great people. I learned so much, had so much fun, right? And grow your career and raise the family. So I did all that. And I took my family, did an international assignment, lived in Singapore, and they get to see my country and they get to see my culture. So this is type of the international assignment I got with an enterprise company. You could go look for those. The other type is lateral move. Lateral move means that you can go change from one job to another, same level, it's a more manager level, whatever, but you move functions. You can move from operations to marketing, from engineering to business to sales, business development to strategic planning. So you can do these kind of thing in enterprise in a lateral move, but you get to try different things. I did 9 different type of jobs within those 20 years. So that's very interesting. You learn. The other one is, that's what I mean. The green one is functional change. So you can see I did functional change. I did international assignments. And also I did some lateral move from one to another. So I started as application engineer, did operations, business development, sales, global training, strategic marketing, strategic business unit leader, executive, and then I had executive training all the way to become managing director. So I did all these different things. I really, so it was a great career up to that point. It just, the reason I want to leave is in the end, they had a change of culture and change of leadership all the way from C-level to down. And I didn't really want to stay there anymore. So this was a sort of like a career map, but different type of move you can consider based on what you want, and also based on your stage of your life. Because a lot of times when you think about career, you do need to think about where the family fits. Because if you do want family, if you don't want kids, then that's maybe a little bit different scenario. But if you do want to become parent, you do need to think about it, because there were solidly 5-6 years when I was having babies, I didn't move my career whatsoever, because I was having babies. My husband was doing MBA, so no, I was staying put. That's when I started a beginning of my career. I was young, but I was fine. I had babies until they got to school. So so I said that career is basically, it's a marathon. So sometime you run, sometime you walk. Really depends on, as long as you keep moving, it's fine. Just don't stop, right? So if you need to slow down, slow down. You can but don't stop. I hope you don't quit. And then just, if you like working, don't quit. So, and as long as you keep moving, it's okay. If it's 5-6 years, don't move because of kids, it's okay. So you need to do what's best for you, for your own situation and for your own family. So make sure that if you want to do other degrees, schools and everything, like I did my MBA when the kids are in middle school. So and it worked out fine. So so I'm gonna pause here, and I have more things that I could talk about, because I had some things I want to talk about specific for Asian and women that in this sort of Western type of a company what to do and what I think we should do. So I can talk about those, but I want to pause and see if we have any questions.
So we have two questions. One is a question sent to me. It's how do you communicate your transferable skills in your resume when trying to switch from manufacturing to tech?
So that's a great question. So I thought about this. I thought about this pretty hard. I think so. When you try to talk to recruiters or talk to other people, you need to talk. You need to think about transferable skills. What do they care about, right? For example, for the Amazon job, for the AWS job, there are a lot of transferable skills you can think about. Customers, how do you think about customers, especially if you're engineers, right? So how do you serve the customers? It's the same everywhere. You know, their number one value is a customer obsession. So you can do that, right? And one of the things about engineers, specifically for this crowd, is they believe if you have engineer degree, a bachelor, master, whatever, and whatever you did, they believe that you can learn very fast. So whatever it is that they basic knowledge, that technologies they need you to learn, they believe you can learn it. So do not sell yourself short, meaning that they're not hiring you to do coding. You're not qualified, right? So unless you decide to start from the bottom and then go to coding school, you don't have to worry about that. They did not hire you to do coding. They have a ton of it. They don't, the one thing they don't lack is people know how to code. So your skill is basically your communication skill, your business skill, your organization skill, your sales skills, and all those skills. So you want to do that. So that's why you want to make sure the specific type of job. I went for business development. So for business development, you need to be able to talk to the customer. So how I sell myself, basically, I say, look, my job, my whole career was in this industrial space, and you want to sell it to industrial space. Whatever you got going there, I can sell anything to the industrial space. I can sell paper, I can sell technology, I can sell cloud. Doesn't matter what it is. Teach me what the selling points is, what the value you bring. We can bridge that gap, right? I know their applications. I can tell you if this thing will benefit them or not. And then it's my job to bridge that gap, to do the translation of the technology and the value it will bring to this. And you as engineer, you know this. So, but if you go, so I think the key to answer this question, the key is what type of job you're trying to do. That whatever the job you're doing, the skill that needs to do that job, you need to focus on, say, I have these skills to do that. You need to, like I said, you need to stage that house for them. Believe in yourself, you can do that job first, and you stage it. I hope that answered that question.
Thanks, Diane. We have another question from Lacey. Did you have kids early career or 10 to 15 years into your career?
That's a great question. I love that question because I went to MBA school, and then everybody just asked all these career questions. And then I was like, so you're all looking at masters. Nobody wants here want to have kids. Like, where are you gonna fit? Where are you gonna fit the kids? So I had kids very early on. My kids are graduating from college now. So I fresh out of school, I didn't know if I wanted a career, to be honest with you. As an immigrant, I didn't even know I could have a career because my English was just like this. Like it was good enough to have conversations and everything. So but I knew for sure I want to be a mother. I want to be a mom. And so I was lucky. Like I met my husband fresh out of college. I was just married, and then I had kids right away. And then I had my son, and then I got bored, and I said, I want to go to work. So and then I went to work, and then I never stopped after that. So I didn't, when I started working, I never knew where I can go. Like I didn't know, like, cause like I said, I'm a first generation immigrant, and I didn't know where I can go. A lot of things basically what I do is I work hard, and I look around. And then every step I look around, I said, that person, I look at my boss, I said, okay, I can do that person's job. I don't think I can do my boss's boss job, but I can do my boss's job. Or I will look around at my boss's level. If that idiot can do that, I can do that too. So, and then I would try to get that job, right? So every single job of UC I did in my career, I hunted and I asked, and then sometimes I fought for them. No one said, yeah, as much as people like me, my boss like me, no one in my career, throughout career life, I had to say, Diane, do you want to do this job? Never happened. Every single job in that in my career, I fought for it. I threatened quit twice, actually quit once. I left when I was graduating from MBA. I asked for I went for a director job, and they said they weren't ready. So I said okay, and then I said I wasn't ready. So you're not ready. So I went to find another job, and at the director level, and I said I'm going to, but I didn't burn the bridge. So I talked to all the bosses. I said, look, somebody else thought I was ready, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to another company, and then that I learn more skills, and they think I was ready. They gave me this title, and I'm going to do that. And then after maybe a year or two, if maybe you think I'm ready, we can talk again. I love this company. I love this. I love everybody here. So, but I don't want to wait for another 2 years before you think I'm ready, because other people think I was ready. So I left. So 6 months later, apparently they thought I was ready and they offered me that job. So I came back. So yeah, so no, you have to, every single job you have to, you have to, it's your career. You have to think it, you have to go ask for it.
Thank you. That was so inspiring. At least personally, I thought it was inspiring. And we have another question from Vanessa, and she's going to unmute.
Hey, Diane. Sorry, I couldn't turn my camera on, but I want to ask you, have you ever experienced when people, let's say, you just like new organization?
I can't hear you very clearly, Vanessa. Can you speak louder or maybe get closer to the microphone?
Yeah, how about now?
Mm-mm.
Hold on, let me use my headphones.
Okay. Sounds better.
Hello?
Yeah, sounds better. Go ahead,
Okay.
Vanessa.
Yeah, so have you ever experienced, let's say you went to a new company or is it a new work group or a new department and people didn't know you well at the time, and they they may think that you look young and they challenge your authority. Because I'm in my upper 30s and still have people thinking this is my internship job or this is my first job out of college. And when I say, hey, do not do this or do not ship this product, they double check with my subordinate who is a white guy.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if you experience this and how do you handle it?
No, Vanessa, that's a great question, especially for Asian women. There's advantage that they think we're young, but there's disadvantage because they think we're young, right? So um, I handle it. I bounce back and forth because I'm disadvantaged in a way that I'm bubbly and I smile all the time. Um, so it's very easy for people to just mistaken or think that you are this very they can just walk all over you, right? Or think you're young and they will check. So you do have to strive that balance to make sure you do share. You need to speak up, and you need to know how to speak firmly, right? So even you have your team report to you, you do need to show. I learned that very early on because I had a woman boss. Okay, she eventually became my best friend, but when I encountered her, it was I was in shock because she was very friendly. So I said, oh, I can be, this woman can be my friend. So we were become right like that. And so we were joking and everything. Then we went into meeting. She could be friendly, and then she changed her face and she become this firm, like, very firm and very intimidating person. And she just, because she knows her stuff, and she just let that person have it. So she become, especially when she does it, especially is to fellow managers fight battle for her team. She's all there, right? She was like, no, you cannot do this, and blah blah blah. She got this demeanor, and I think I subconsciously copied it early on in my career. It was very lucky. You need to see people do that. It's rare that you see a firm, kick-ass woman and just do it and then just don't care. And she even used swear words, like I don't, but she used swear words, and she will just, like, this is on the factory floor. But then she turned around, and we went to have dim sum together, and she turned into this, oh, look at the baby. She could do that. She could switch that. So you do need to show, especially for Asian women, to get that credibility, to make people take you seriously. You can't always be just like this typical smiling and quiet person, because people will walk all over you. They will. So men, women, they will do that. So you have to strategically find opportunity to show both sides. You have to, if you need to practice, you practice. If it's important meeting, when you do your presentation, when you have a moment to actually show it's your report and you say something, and when you do know your stuff and you find your moment and you show that, and when you do need to get mad, you get mad, right? And you stay there toe to toe with, especially the best time to do that is to fight for your people, not fight for yourself, fight for your people, defend your people. Those are the best time to get mad, because sometimes you can strategically get mad and the people will just take you seriously, and they won't do that again. You need to show that, somehow show that. If people that like sort of challenge your authority, Vanessa, and you do need to find a opportunity to show them that you can do that. You have to push back. You have to.
Yeah, thanks.
So a lot of the, I think a lot of fellow Asian, including men, they don't do that. So and then people just mistaken it as weakness, and then they will take your credit, they will speak, and then they don't think you can lead, and all those things. So you do need to practice that, and you do need to speak up, and then to men and women, and then you need to show that. People need to show some teeth, and then they see that you can do that, and then you can go back and be nice, because and then so that you can practice, switch back and forth. But then you need to build that brand so people will trust that you can do it, because if you're too quiet, then they don't think you can sit in that seat. So
We have a follow-up question from Lisi.
Yeah.
Are employers legally allowed to mention your age or whether you're young or old?
no, I don't think so.
Sorry.
So yeah, so one of the things I think this linked to not just age question is how do we dress, how do we carry ourselves, and all that. And because like I said, we tend to look younger. So I have battle suits, unfortunately. So I wear those suits. You do you unfortunately, they won't just take you whatever, however you dress, you carry yourself. And they call it quote unquote executive presence. It doesn't matter. I struggle with it. I got coached for it. So when I went to the executive level, for example, if I have presentation with a CEO, C-level people. I went to board meeting and present to the board and things like that. I will not wear bright clothing. I love bright. My favorite. I wear red all the time. I have pink. I wear red. But when I want to go to meetings, I don't. I wear I wear dark clothing, and I lower my voice. I won't lower my voice. Um, I My voice tend to be higher, especially when I get excited. So um, I need to practice that to make sure that people can take me seriously. Unfortunately, men can joke around and do things. I can't in that setting. So the coaching I got is for a while I was very bitter, and so why do I have to? I don't want to change, right? I don't want to change myself. This is me. Why can't they just take me? Like say, so my one of my mentor said, Diane, we're not asking you to change yourself. What we're saying is you need to look at the audience, right? So you look at the audience. That's the audience. It's a conservative, male, dominated place. So if you want them to take you seriously, just keep your audience in mind. So you have presentations, right? You have presentations, you have audience in mind. Same thing when you do. So you just in that room speak to the audience, that audience, and you need to be you do it that way. And when you go back to in this, with women in STEM or with other stuff, you can do it in that different way. You can be yourself. No one asks you to change who you are. We're just saying, it's just introverted, extroverted people. When you need introverted person have to do presentation, they put on a face, they sum up all their energy, and they do that for half an hour, and they retreat. It's the same idea. So I think I bought that because for the longest time I was like, I didn't want to change myself. So maybe I just don't want to be executive then. So yeah, but then so that changed. So I think you do have to make some changes. I saw some Indian ladies. What they do is they never. So there are a couple of them I've been observing. They never ever let their hair down. Their hair is always in a bun, very tight. They always wear suits. They always look just perfect, like a Singapore, flight attendants. They always look like that. They they made it a director faster. So right around, that's how the game was played. So
I actually have a question of my own. Did you see any differences in the work culture between the US and Singapore, or did you have to carry yourself any differently between those two places?
yes, absolutely. I well, in a way, um, in Asia, China and Singapore women are pretty good. A lot of women in high positions, honestly. It's more than here. More than here, I would say. So it's women in Asia is very interesting. In Singapore, in China, it's too extreme, right? So the people that are well educated and well supported, and went to good school, they're very, like, it's easier to make it up top. I've seen a lot. But then you have the extreme, you have those maids, and then you have people, from like no connections, from poor education background, and and it's very difficult for them to make those changes to jump to do that. One of the interesting thing is for the upper middle class Asian women, professional women, there was a there was a show. Anybody know Anthony Bourdain? Anybody? That chef? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a guy I want to marry next life. So, so Anthony Bourdain. So he traveled, right? He traveled the world. One of the episodes he did in Singapore. So he was sitting there drinking with three professional upper middle class Singapore women. They're all professional. They sit there, and then he asked them this question. It's very interesting. If you can do a search, and you can search on Netflix, it says Anthony Bourdain Singapore episode. Listen to that conversation. It's fascinating. So he said, so people always assume in Asia women's position are very bad, like just not not they don't, women, like people don't have like girls, they even, you know, they even drown the girls, and then but you guys, you're confident, you're successful, you're doing like you have you have careers and you have husband like treat you right. What am I missing? One of the reply by one of the women is, it surprised you, it shocked me, but it's all right. She said, I tell you what it is, maids. So what do you mean? So every higher middle class people, they have maids, meaning that they don't have to worry about anything at home. They don't do, they just play with the kids. They have 24/7 ready-made living maid for $200 a month, right? And they wash cars, they clean up. The woman doesn't do any housework. So they're fully liberated, like in Singapore, these upper middle class women. So they can go to school, they can go to drink, they only do what they want to do with the kids and maybe just play. And then the maid will take the kids and even bath them if they want to, right? Or even take them to sports, but they don't do that. They will do the mother things, but the maids will do everything. And maids will take water for their husband. So meaning that if women are really truly liberated from their housework, because it's not really equal, well, let's face it. So you can actually have that. So if people, that's why I say that you go back, and there's a Harvard research say, if research show that if you actually have the policy that help women to solve this issue of childcare, women will go up faster. They can accomplish more, way more. In the US, unfortunately, we don't have that. So we don't have that kind of policy. We don't have maternity leave policy. We just don't. Like I had my kids in Canada. Each kid I had 1 year with pay, with job guarantee. I stay home for 1 year for each kid with job guarantee. I didn't lose pay. That's Canada. So here, like I have women report to me, they 2 months and they're back. So that's I would say that's an issue. So in Asia, there's the long answer to the questions. In Asia, I think the upper middle class, those women, they're fine. And then at the society, all the companies, and they accept them, and they can thrive. They really can. And then the bottom, there's another layer of women, you know, they are not in a good situation.
And then you look at like the pandemic and what that's done to women in the US here with like childcare being so unstable. It's crazy the number of my coworkers, like I work with a lot of attorneys for my project, and it's like every week it was cool before, because before I actually worked with a lot of female attorneys, which was kind of unique, and then now it's like every week another person leaving to stay home. It's crazy.
Yeah, because then you there are lots of research. If the policy from the government and from a company, it all give women that kind of support, it will mean so much to women's career. We can lift up a whole lot of women. There was a research was fascinating. Why policy is so important. That's East Germany and West Germany. So when they put them together, they did the research, and just very quickly compared to East Germany. This is in the Harvard study that they look at. So you would think, so in Germany, their policy is the government will support women up to will pay the woman to stay home up to 3 years. So the idea is the children can want to stay with their mother, and then when they're babies up to 3. So in West Germany, the policy is they pay women to stay home, have really good general benefits to stay home. So the idea is, when you think about it, so wow, then every woman will want to stay home, right? 3 years. If you get paid, why not stay home? Otherwise, the society will think you're a bad mother, right? So that's the West Germany's policy. East Germany used to be communist, remember? And then they didn't have that policy. So, but then when they merged together for that period of time, what's fascinating is the East Germany women actually have more successful career compared to West Germany people, because they didn't, the policy itself before that, ironically, it didn't have this 3-year threshold. So if a woman want to go back to work at 1 year, he can, and the society didn't look down on the women. Now West Germany, if you're going to go back to work before 3 years old, everybody will think you're weird. Like, why you want to do that? And then there's no preschool that will look after the kids before 3, because why would they, right? The assumption is everybody, all the mother will stay home. So all this preschool start at 3-year-old and up. So when you think about it, each woman, professional woman, they have to give up 3 years, full years career. And if you have more children, that's how many years? And then so they just slow down. But East Germany women didn't have that problem. So you see, that's why policy matters. That's what the conclusion is. I thought that was fascinating. So yeah, that's why policy, it really matters. So whoever, will become successful and make policies for women, it's going to be an issue. So my daughter's is in engineering school. She basically said, she's been saying all the time, she said, I'm going to have a career. I'm going to have a career. I said, who's going to have any children? She said, you are. So she already made that decision. She said, that's her conclusion. She said, that's the only way I could do both. She said, you look at children. That's why I got a career. That's what anyways, no, you need to make a plan. You need to really make sure, you could do this. I was lucky though. So my sister had kids later. My sister decided she wanted to travel to Europe. She just had kids later. I think there's a benefit on both sides. You can have your life until you're mature and more mature, and then you can have kids. But then you just need to think about, when you're 45, do you want to deal with 5-year-olds? It's not when the children was born. It's when you're 5, and when the kids are 5 or 6, how old you will be. Are you willing to climb around jungle gym with that at that age? Do you want to climb around jungle gym with that kid? That's what's, a lot of people don't think that. So any other questions?
I also want to acknowledge that we are quite a bit after 8 p.m. Eastern. Sorry, I had to convert. So I really appreciate everyone for joining us thus far. I hope you all learned quite a bit. I'm happy to hang out and continue listening to Diane share everything about her life. But yeah, just wanted to say thank you all for joining us.
Yes, yeah, thank you. Like, you're welcome to connect with me, and Margaret called me and we chatted. So like I said, I'm at the stage of my life that I like to pay it forward, because I run into people that's really good for me. When I need help, I run into people, and then I feel very fortunate. I feel like I had even I've seen some difficulties through my life and everything, but I still full of hope, very optimistic. And then I like to pay it forward. I think women should help other women. If I think back, when I started career, like I have not run into people that actually sort of could give me some guidance. Maybe I could have speed up some steps quite a bit if I can. I wish I had that kind of access to people that show me some knowledge and wisdom and stuff like that earlier. Earlier in my year, I think first 10 years, when I was truly was just a kid and didn't know anybody and didn't know anything, and then I somehow survived, just like that. So I wouldn't mind to. That's why I love it. I love talking to people. I think we love supporting people. So if you want to reach out to me and just brainstorm about something, practice interview, look at jobs and things like that, and just chat, absolutely happy to do that, because I think other people did it for me. And if I can do it for one person at a time and help them to save their 5 years and then didn't go to any, other places they're not supposed to go to, or just help them out, and then that's worth it. So thank you for listening to me babbling. Yeah, so I can stay for another little bit. So if you want to chat, but it's